Hello, you scrumptious strawberries, and welcome back to the Disney Drawing Challenge hosted by Crazy Comic Lady Sambeawesome and yours truly. Today I'm working on prompt number 2. Draw a Disney slumber party. Oh my goodness. Okay, this already it's so late. I would say I have no excuse, but I have tons of excuses, and some of them are actually legitimate excuses, which is the actual problem because then it's like, oh, well, then you actually prioritize stuff over the Disney Drawing Challenge. But yeah, it just had to happen. I would go into detail, but I feel like what's done is done. If you really want to know what happened, like maybe you can talk about it during a live stream, but I'm just like, oh, speak. I will say, for the most part, what I would say the biggest factor that held me back was the fact that I actually did pretty darn decently on the first prompt. People really liked it, I guess, which thank you everybody for your really kind comments. Like, oh my gosh, flattered. The only problem is when you do that well on a piece, it just sets the bar really high, and I did not intend for this challenge to be as strenuous as it became because I'm looking at the piece and it turns out I was editing the footage and I worked on prompt number 1 for about 10 hours. I was like, "Okay, that's not gonna work." I have way too much other stuff to do. Spending 10 hours on, like, I would love to spend that much time if there wasn't a deadline for this, but right now, that's not gonna happen again. So I do apologize if, like, you're all excited and such about, these pieces having a certain quality to them, but it's like, yeah, sorry, that's not gonna happen. But I am gonna try to, one of the main focuses I had was to work on character interactions and expressions, so and also posing. Yeah, I wanna work on that. So I do wanna still strive for at least that. I'm hoping I hope you can at least enjoy that, but thanks again, everybody, for your support so far. This has been a ton of fun. I'm not used to it's a lot to take in. But for today's prompt, I decided to just to kind of switch gears. I really wanted to draw Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, and I just thought of this concept of kind of pranks that people pull at slumber parties when this may or may not have happened to me, but the first person who falls asleep ends up with their face being covered, vandalized. Yeah, and at first I wasn't sure if I was gonna put Vanellope, but they're a pair, and then I put because I really wanted Stitch in the picture too, and Lilo and Stitch, they're absolutely a pair, so I put those 2 in there, and then I realized that it wasn't quite like a slumber party because it did seem like a crossover, but then I was like, maybe I should add 1 or 2 more characters. So I decided to hint at the Cheshire Cat, and I put Alice from Alice in Wonderland in there, and she'll be the second to fall asleep, so she's safe. But I just thought of Lilo maybe goes to pop some popcorn for, the other people who have still stayed up, and she comes back to find Stitch helping Penelope drown the stuff, and yeah, it was it was funny in my head. It just I thought it'd be cute, and Stitch is kinda like, "Uh-oh," 'cause, I also added the little chart from I know in the first movie, like, Lilo measured his badness level, but then in Stitch Has a Glitch, she starts measuring his good level, and I kinda liked that one more, so I thought she would bring that with her, but he may have to there may be some consequences. Um, and pretty much what I wanted to do with this setup, because the thing is, with 2-point perspective, I'm really new to it. So this is actually like my first official piece that I've done with 2-point perspective. So yeah, that was intimidating too. After coming from prop 1. But anyway, I really wanted to try and push myself to do it, but the only way I could really do that without being too discouraged, I guess, or just to get the motivation rolling was to think about Sugar Rush and just the layout of everything because I love food or candy, like sweet themed levels and games. Like I play Kirby games like ever since Nightmare and Dreamland in the Game Boy Advance. Actually, no, I played the course on the Super Nintendo. Dang. Yeah, I'm playing for a little while, let's just say. And I really love the levels that are themed around cakes, and they always had at least one world in the Kirby games, and that'd always be my favorite, always. And it was just such a fun concept to me to have items shaped like food, but you could still use them as, furniture or, just stuff like that. And while Sugar Rush isn't quite like that, it's more like they just use the actual food as furniture. So, for example, when you see Vanellope in her hideout, she's sleeping on like a, I think it was a sponge cake. Yeah, it was one of those little round sponge cakes. And I mean, that was really cute, but I was kind of thinking more along the line of something like almost Animal Crossing, like too, with the sweets designed, but it's still a piece of furniture. So, yeah, I kept with that. And then I tried to do a little bit of stripes, kind of like candy cane, and then make the walls like sort of have a graham cracker kind of texture. And then I added those chocolate, like, I don't know if it's Pocky or you know, just hard chocolate that, who is it, Felix, when he's trying to break out of the prison and he knocks his hammer against the thing, but it just makes him thicker. He's like, why do I fix everything I touch? Yeah. And I think, let me see, I think we're about, I did add some details to just to try and convince, sell that it's a party. Like I had them tape on a like kind of a party game where it's like darts but not, or like bean bags, kind of like a Velcro sort of game where you score based on where you hit, which target you hit and stuff. And I called it just truffle toss. They're like little truffles. You know what? It sounded cute in my head. Okay. I don't know. But one last thing I think I will mention also is Ralph's blanket, because I wanted to do a sort of ode to in the beginning of the movie when he like uses the bricks as his blanket. So I put bricks on his blanket. Yeah. Oh wait, and also I put one of those little cakes next to Alice that says "Eat me," except it's not actually one of those cakes. That could be potentially dangerous. Yeah, I thought it'd be cute. Yeah, add little things from each movie. Thank you guys so much for watching and for all your comments and stuff, all your submissions. Oh my gosh, if you guys are liking the series so far and you just want to check out and see what other people have done, definitely check the hashtag Disney Drawing Challenge 2017. And if you would like to participate, use that tag as well. I have links in the description below to both Crazy Comic Lady and Sambeawesome's playlists where you can watch there, shower them with love because they're way ahead of the game than I am. So, yeah, props to them for that. I'm going to get going here and work up more on those prompts. So I will talk to you guys in my next video. Until next time.